Hello, everyone. I all hope you had a very wonderful, great, blessed morning and a great evening indeed, guys. Despite that, guys, as you can see today, the weather is very quietly, extremely, as in literally quietly cold as from yesterday as well. It was literally very much superly quietly cold as well. But regardless of that, guys, I'm still quietly here, and I also quietly informed you about the long weekend, which you'll actually see me on Tuesday as well, which was exactly part of which was also which is what exactly mentioned yesterday on Wednesday. But regardless of that, guys, I'm very superly grateful for your guys' support and from those of you subscribing in YouTube and from TikTok, and it completely means the entire universe to me, and from all of you as well, guys. It completely means the entire literally universe to me, for all of you guys who are literally supporting me and literally working with me on my journey. Completely means the world to me. I'll never actually truly forget about you. I'll never actually truly forget your support, guys. I'll never actually ever actually truly forget about it. It is actually thanks to you guys that I'm actually still continuing, and also thanks to myself as well that I'm actually still continuing this journey as well with you guys as well. But regardless of that, I'm very grateful for your guys' support, and have a wonderful, blessed, long weekend of a great long weekend. I'll actually see you on Tuesday, which will be the perfect day for us to exactly begin the next episode, or our next super villains or superheroes as well, on that very particular point as well. But regardless of that, guys, have a blessed week and a blessed long weekend. Your support means the entire universe to me, as in literally it does completely, and especially from those of you who are following, and from those of you who are also completely still subscribing. Completely means the universe to me. Have a blessed, great long weekend. I will see you on Tuesday. On today's episode, we're to speak about the Sacred Sisters, who are very powerful, sinister group of very powerful, sinister group of dark, formidable, who are very powerful, sinister group of dark witches, and very extremely immortal, and very ancient, and they are very powerful, and very dangerous, and also deadly throughout the sacred world's history. The sacred sisters have proven to become actually rather the most particular, unpredictable, to be unpredictable, powerful, devious witches ever known throughout the entire sacred universe. And they're very quietly deadly, and also very quietly dangerous as well. According to the sacred world's history, they are very ancient, and very powerful, and also very completely dangerous as well. The Sacred Sisters are very dangerous, and are also very merciless group of witches, as there are ancient paintings about their ancient origin, which are very particularly ancient, about their origin, about them giving life to new dark, powerful creatures of dark, warlocks, wizards, witches, druids, faithful, and also hybrids of creatures that are very ancient, that are very quietly particularly ancient, and also very quietly particularly very muchly ancient and rare creatures of hybrids of the two genetic species that quietly exist within the sacred world history. The Sacred Sisters are very highly observant sisters of dark witches, and a very powerful of a shadowy elite criminal organization that only serves with one goal and one purpose: to furthering their sole plans of conquering, ruling, and placing their influence and manipulation through the entire sacred universe, and throughout the entire known universe, and throughout the entire sacred great nations, so that they can actually remain the sole rulers. And they are also the very same shadowy associates in the dark shadowy astral projection, which is quietly a mirror reflection of themselves in the shadowy holographic projection of themselves, which is very quietly a unique, powerful dark technique and ability that very powerful, dark, sinister criminals and super ancient magical creatures and beings can easily develop in order to literally conceal their identity as well. They're very quietly mysterious, and very quietly ancient, and very quietly noble to their goals, and as well to their missions as well, regardless of the true outcome or how it might actually go about. But they are so very highly ambitious, and they share one dark desire to remain the sole rulers of the entire known universe and of the sacred universe and of the sacred world as well. So let's exactly begin. The Sacred Sisters were quietly one of the most dangerous and very elite, shadowy, ancient, dark, mythical criminals who are very quietly well known throughout sacred history. Throughout the entire 20th 1 century, when the original Lord Magic was quietly in power, he knew about the Sacred Sisters' existence, and he decided that it's best that he actually kept it to himself, while Amber, the goddess of power, took a very quietly intriguing interest in the Sacred Sisters' research and also in the formidable goals and also techniques on how to project herself as well. Throughout the end of the 21st century, the Sacred Sisters and Amber, the goddess of power, managed to make a recent contact of each other within a dark labyrinth purple crystal cave where they all exactly secretly convened to each other to speak about their plans and about their progress. Regardless of that, Amber exactly reassured the Sacred Sisters that all she wants is to make sure that the original Lord of Magic remained in power. And the Sacred Sisters exactly told Amber that they have no interest in making sure what the Lord of Magic would actually benefit from his power or from his rule. But regardless of that, they actually told Amber that they will actually secretly provide her knowledge and greater forbidden techniques of accessing forbidden power and greater knowledge that has never been received or ever been known to any 4-nation hunter, 5-nation hunter, sacred great nation creatures and council members and warlocks and any other creatures of the sacred universe, which is crucial that they actually maintain the knowledge to him and also to herself and to her followers as well. Regardless of that, that was exactly part of the new deal and part of the new pact that Amber, the goddess of power, who's also known by another alias as the Witch of Power, managed to actually create a powerful secretive pact with the Sacred Sisters. Within the following centuries, the Sacred Sisters continued to manipulating events, wars, and conflicts that the original Lord of Magic and the Shadow Empire had begun plunging the sacred world and the sacred universe into further chaos, and into further darkness, straightly into damnation of total annihilation of the sacred great nations and of the sacred supernaturals, aliens, and superhumans in the process, while the Sacred Sisters used those conflicts and those wars in order to benefit themselves, in order to profit from it, so the organization can remain in power with the singular focus of the goal of influence, power, connections, and also with the greatest technique of manipulation as well, and also with staging and also orchestrating events that are highly beyond the shadows of the sacred universe as well. Within the following centuries of the years that quietly passed within the sacred universe after the sacred civil wars and after the great first sacred civil war has passed, and after the second one has passed, and after the third one has passed, and after the fourth one has passed, throughout the fourth century of the years of the 1 years of the sacred world's great wars, where the sacred great nations were literally completely in war with each other, the Power Clan became to be known as one of the most powerful individual greater nations, and that it was actually rumored to be one of the most isolated greater clans and greater nations within the great forest of the soul, within the forest of the great souls, which was the only way for dark conspiracies to begin taking place. Within that 4th century of a year, one of the Sacred Sisters took control of that great sacred nation's entire sacred nation, and able to plunge it into further chaos, into further damnation, where they were able to recruit very powerful, devious sleeper agents in order to carry out their roles and the assignment within the shadows of the sacred great nations, which in doing so will exactly furthering their plans in the process. Regardless of that, one sacred sister exactly revealed herself from the shadows as the leader of the as the great leader of the as a great leader of the great nation, was literally communicating with the powerful, flawless, and greater sadistic and very bloodthirsty and very bloodthirsty warrior of a warrior of a four-nation hunter who didn't exactly know his path or his destiny, and the sacred sister exactly was communicating from the shadows. Regardless of that, the mysterious, the mythical four-nation hunter seemed very quietly intrigued by the offer and the proposition of this great witch is offering him, and regardless of that, he was only able to take an interest to what the mysterious figure in the shadows was actually saying until he actually saw her orange eyes within the shadows and very quietly skeptical of what the witch was actually saying. To that point, the mysterious figure exactly told the great assassin and mercenary that they could complete their goals and their total operation in the full shadows by creating a magical space where all of the people and their kind would thrive in a very powerful, sadistic way, which will benefit them mercilessly, and their plans and their goals would gladly take place in shaping the sacred great nation's future and and also especially in controlling the narrative of humanity from the shadows by manipulating powerful, sinister, ancient societies such as the Order of the Five and the founders, who are also as well doing the exact same opposite thing, but their goals are very quietly different from their goals and from their own different perspectivity in controlling humanity in a different way, but only on a very much of a larger scale that their goals have to be completed in a very destructive way. The mysterious One Nation hunter, bloodthirsty killer, was very intrigued by the mysterious unknown shadowy sacred sister witch, and he told the mysterious shadowy figure of her sacred sister witch to reveal herself. After that, she exactly told him that she must make her decision, that they'll actually join forces to aid each other on their respective goals. After that, she completely revealed herself and exactly enlightened him on the goals of the organization and also on the Coven's goals and also on the other goals of the other ancient groups that the other powerful shadowy criminals and confederates had managed to form amongst themselves in order to taking matters into themselves, which was very quietly crucial for them to beginning to initiate phase two. And the figure decided to join forces with the witch, which exactly formed a long-lasting partnership and friendship within many years that are about to actually exist. Over the following later centuries and years, the Sacred Sisters continue recruiting merciless, dangerous, sinister criminals who are quietly very rumored to be either to be missing or to be either to be have defected from their great respective homelands. Others are rogue, powerful, dark folk. Others are rogue, powerful, forbidden. Others are rogue, powerful, forbidden, and formidable rogue, evil four-nation hunters. Some are other sacred hunters who come from the five nation hunters, and from the six nation hunters, from the seven nation hunters, until the 126 nation hunters who have also defected from their respective homelands and also decided to join forces with the Sacred Sisters and also to aid them with their respective goals. During at that time, the organization has grown too powerful and too dangerous for them to literally to be seen and literally to be seen and to expose, and they decided that it's best that they operate in the shadows. From that end, they still kept tabs on the original Lord of Magic's reign and ruling of the Shadow Empire, and him planning to exterminate and annihilate the supernaturals, aliens, and superhumans, and the Phoenician hunters, and any threat that might, and any force of threat or obstacle that might pose a very greater threat to his goal and also to his long-term plans that he's willing to also proceed with. Regardless of that, they also exactly paid attention to his body deterioration, which I previously told you in a previous episode, that his body deterioration is quietly actually starting to show that his body is actually dying slowly and very quietly, slowly than ever before, due to him being infusing himself with unlimited energy of shadow energy with more of it, and with more of it, the more of it he gains, which after all gains immortality and greater, and greater beauty, and greater beauty, and greater flawless beauty, and also greater immortal powers and longevity. But there's a price to it as well, which literally explains his body's deterioration, and the deterioration of his body and of his cells has been happening for many centuries and for many years, which remains completely unknown to his followers. Only Amber, the goddess of power, has been able to pay attention to his health and to his true health and to his power. To his power also sings, which is beginning to actually show signs, speak, was actually beginning to actually showing signs of deterioration and showing signs of his body body beginning to slowly dying, but very slowly dying, and very not exactly quickly dying, but very slowly dying at its very much slower rate than its true proximity. So which studies to show that shadow energy has its downsides, its greater downsides, and also its greater lesser sides. To those of you who have been exposed, to those of you who actually have been exposed to it for many centuries and for many millennia as well. Regardless of that, the Sacred Sisters exactly gave Amber, the goddess of power, more forbidden knowledges and ancient texts on the forbidden secrets of controlling and manipulating shadows and darkness and all of that. But she and the others well know that the original Lord of Magic's body won't be able to take the new powers and the new abilities due to the body's deterioration and to it exactly dying to the infected cells of shadow energy that he's been infusing himself with for many thousand millennia of centuries, which his body won't be able to tolerate as well. After for the following centuries, the Sacred Sisters and the rest of the members of the organization remained quietly quiet and decided to actually keep to themselves to the distance in order to still keep tabs on the original Lord of Magic's reign and ruling, in order to making sure that their plans are beginning to actually take place, which they decided to actually do so as well. On the near end of the great century, the four members of the Sacred Sisters created a shadowy astral projection, created a shadowy astral projection of themselves, which is very dark and very dark and very dark and very shadowy, which only conceals their identity as well as protecting themselves in the process. As in within the shadowy projection, they were able to speak to the other sinister dark warlock and dark wizard, which were of the two of the people also projected the same thing about themselves with a shadowy astral projection, in order to confirm that their plans are still in place and that they're ready to actually to proceed the way they have to be as well. On the actual 27 of March, the members of the Sacred Sisters reconvene on a dark, misty cave with the exact same way of the astral, with the very same way of the shadowy holographic astral projections of themselves, where they were able to exactly realize that the death of the original Lord of Magic has created so much chaos and destruction throughout the two after the whole month of February, and after the recent of his demise within the 25th of January, which has managed to actually create a major disaster within the Shadow Empire. And they all decided to take it up amongst themselves to exactly mourn the death of the original Lord of Magic, despite that they never actually took an interest to his goals and to his mission, but they still actually respected him and quietly held tremendous respect of him as well. The other members quietly understood exactly where the witches actually stood, and they decided to actually show the same respective kindness to their former colleague and greater advisor, who actually gave them greater advices and greater knowledge than anyone else has ever actually gave them. As the members also as well took an interest on the next step, planning on furthering the next of the plans for the next of the years that are about to come by and also pass as well, which was very crucial for them to actually beginning to finalizing their plans and their goal, and also furthering the next stage of their plan as well, which was very sinisterly crucial for it to beginning taking place, as they all came to agreement that it was very quietly inevitable for them to be taking place with their plans as well. On the 17th of April, the leader of the Sacred Sisters completely exactly met up with the dark druids and with the dark witches and with the dark faithful on a very powerful magical waterfall within within a magic forest of the sacred magic universe, where they were able to speak where they were able to speak closer to a waterfall. And this time, the dark magical users of the followers actually told her that everything else that they've been actually been doing has been the greater good of the original Lord of Magic, and that their services will always exactly be indebted to him, regardless of that. The leader of the Sacred Sisters told the Dark Druid that she's very quietly grateful and very highly appreciative of their loyalty and service to the great, great original legendary Lord of Magic. But she told the Dark Druids and the Dark Witches and the Dark Faithful that the only thing she needs to know is about the legendary, powerful deity Dark King of Darkness, who is still actively alive, and when he'll actually return, which is very quietly crucial for them to actually beginning the step of the mobilization of the progress in order to actually halt the Red Empire's conquest and planning from conquering all the neighboring greater kingdoms of the sacred world and of the sacred universe, which is very crucial for that to also taking place with its implementation and also with its steps. The dark magic users begin to agree that is exactly what should actually take place as well. On the 27th of May, the leader of the Sacred Sisters was able to exactly return back to the dark magical school filled with dark powerful earth witches and new recruits of dark wizards and warlocks, where she told them all completely that they all each have a unique power and a unique driven power and infinite power and will to do whatever it is that will make them completely happy, and that their dark desire and their dark ambition will grant them full clarification of that as well. The other new recruits from planet Earth were very quietly skeptical about the rumors, what they've been hearing about the mighty universal legendary heroes who killed the great infamous legendary Lord of Magic, that they were all quietly true. The leader of the Sacred Sisters told the witches that the rumors were quietly true, that they literally spread like wildfire across the entire sacred magic universe and as well across the entire alien worlds and within the superhuman worlds and within the supernatural worlds and within the sacred great nations worlds and villages and systems as well, and within the Formation Hunter homelands, which the rumors were definitely quietly true. And regardless of that, they were all extremely very true, as the leader of the Sacred Sisters began telling the new recruits and also as well as the new informants who were quietly getting used to their new reality. But the leader of the Sacred Sisters told the Dark Witches and the rest of the new recruits that they must begin the plan and the implementation, and that she will teach them the ways of how to utilize dark magic and the power of the dark arts in a more very, very strict and professional way, which will strictly guide them, and also how to utilize dark magic in a very, very, very good way, which is very crucial that they learn this in a very different way, but not in her ways, but in the ways of the dark arts, in the ways of the dark magical ways. They all agreed to that, as they were all very quietly eager for the teachings. On the near end of June, on the 29th of June, the leader of the Sacred Sisters asked the members of the organization to reconvene on the same different dark cave, this time in the shadowy astral projection of themselves, where there were only about new members and about other members as well, as she began to tell them that she's about to summon an ancient, powerful, dark monster statue which contains and wields greater tremendous power, and will be very crucial that they use this power, since the other organizations have managed to do the exact same thing that they're also doing, but their goals are very different from their goals and from their own different positive goals, such as the Order of Death, which is a very powerful ancient secret society and a very shadowy elite criminal organization. Also has the ancient monster statue at his possession, as well as the sacred children who also have the giant monster statue at his possessioning as well in its true custody and the palm of their hands. They also quietly have it as well. Despite that, the leader of the Sacred Sisters began telling the members that with this new monster statue's power at their possessioning, they'll be able to speed up the progress and they'll be able to further their plans very quickly, which means, in other words, it's time for them to pick up the pace and finding the great materials and also the great materials and also the great materials and the rest of the greater materials that they quietly need in order for the sealing to begin taking place, as they all agreed to that as well. On the 21 of July, the members who managed to exactly capture and apprehend a very ancient, sinister, powerful monk from his great clan were able to exactly arrive in the cave, but they were able to tell the members of the Sacred Sisters that the mighty universal founders are actually closing in on their headquarters, and they actually brought backup from the Four Nation Hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition. The leader of the Sacred Sisters exactly told them that the ritual must begin taking place, and it's very inevitable that they must take the power from the ancient monk and exactly seal in within the monster statue, which is very crucial that it actually begin taking place. Regardless of that, she summoned the giant monster statue, and the members began exactly standing on the monster statue's hands in the shadowy astral projection of themselves, where the leader exactly told the ones who currently not in the astral projection of themselves to begin the finalization of the ritual, while she told the other members and decided to select a very few members to hold the enemy from approaching directly to their headquarters, enough for the ritual to begin taking place, while the other members begin exactly sealing the energy and powers of the ancient monk within the monster statue. By doing so, the leader of the Sacred Sisters began using a very different hand symbol, which was quite a hand symbol like this, in order to focus their thoughts and their power to using a forbidden dark technique of shadows to conjure a powerful shapeshifting technique, forbidden technique of the members of the organization, in order to halt the enemy from approaching from the base of operation, so that the ritual can begin taking place and that it can actually be finished in a very, very, very quicker and faster way, not to easily halt the process, but which will destroy the monster statue in the actual process. Regardless of that, the two shadowy shape-shifting clones of the two members beginning exactly fulfilling the roles and the assignment to keeping the heroes and the forces occupied long enough for the ritual to be finished and to be completed in its very right way. While the ritual was actually being finished in its right way, the leader exactly told the two members to drive the enemy off course and to lead them astray from the cave that they were all quietly present in. After that, the other members' astral projection of their shadows began disappearing from the hands of the statue, and the leader began unsummoning the monster, and the monster disappeared, and she told the two members to remove them away from the cave, which is very crucial and inevitable for them not to discover anything from the cave that they were all quietly in, so that they can never take all the information about the statues and the creatures and the monstrous creatures that are quietly present within the cave, except for the one that they were able to use in order to seal the power of the ancient monk powers within, the one that's quietly been unsummoned and now has been taken to a different location to be protected and to be heavily concealed far away, which, as I said before, there were ancient monster statues and creatures and beings of the dark dimension who literally arrived within the sacred world and within the sacred universe for many centuries and for many 10,000 years of millennia, while they were waging war with the predecessors and with the ancestors of the Four Nation Hunters. And these creatures have been forgotten, and some of them have been known, others of them have been literally been unknown, and which is why the leader told the two members to drive them off course, so that the heroes can never ID or know anything about this cave or its history or anything type of it, which is very inevitable, as they all agreed to that as well. On the 27th of August, the leader of the Sacred Sisters was actually still remaining on the greater powerful Misty village, on top of the greater very powerful Misty village, until one of her sisters actually told her that the mysterious ally has completely arrived. She spoke with the mysterious shadowy figure who was quietly sitting on the who was quietly sitting excuse me who was quietly sitting on the chair within the shadows, and exactly told the mysterious shadowy figure that the operation has begun taking place, except that they've been receiving unknown interference from the mighty universal founders, who are the allies of the legendary universal heroes, who are the most powerful and deadly force that they can never exactly literally clash with, which is very crucial that their plans actually begin taking place. The mysterious shadowy figure exactly warned the leader of the Sacred Sisters that the universal heroes are a dangerous group of formidable opponents, and that it will be wise not to undermine them, and it will be wise not to underestimate each member, as all the other supervillains have been complaining and have been literally been frustrated with their interference of their plans and operations being foiled as twice as possible, especially the most powerful ancient leader of his own organization, known as the mighty Dark King and Dark Grey, who are the leader and founders of the founders, have been complaining and have been also been stating that the universal heroes have done nothing but foil their plans and their long-term plans and goals in order to controlling humanity and making sure that they remain the sole rulers of the cosmos, which has been foiled due to the universal heroes' interference. As a mysterious shadowy figure told the leader of the Sacred Sisters that it would be wise to take a very different, drastic action and a very extreme approach approaching this new obstacle which they never faced. After that, he disappeared from the shadows of the room and was never quietly seen again. The other member of the Sacred Sister, who is like a brother to them, or more like an advisor to them, actually told his sisters that it would be wise not to definitely underestimate the obstacle that they were completely fighting up against. The sister exactly agreed with that as well, and said they've learned the hard way that they can never underestimate the threat they're literally facing. On the 19th of September, the two formidable sacred sister witches who are wearing their cloaks in the hoodie, were quietly able to return to the dark magical school college which they infamously exactly ruled and still control of, and exactly told the witches that it's time for them to begin their presentary assignments and their greater missions as well. On the 28th of October, the dark witches of the Dark College began exactly invading the greater ancient magic school of nature, which is heavily a beautiful greater school of magic that is filled with nature and creatures and magical trees that give life to the entire environment in itself, which is filled with warriors, which is quietly filled with warriors and monks and supernatural creatures and greater good vampires, and greater good alien creatures who all exactly live and coexist together. And the Dark Witches began to invading that college by bringing the entire college of their own, and by bringing the entire school of the college of their own, which is exactly beginning to fly from the sky, just to state that they were quietly in power and in control of their own destiny as well, which the negative power and energy of their power began exactly showing from the entire school's environment, as all the allies of the school began fighting against this vile threat, while the two remaining sacred sister witches remained on top of the sky, levitating and watching the battle from a very far distance, and still exactly taking the irony and enjoying it from a very far distance, which they were completely exactly relishing and happy that they're about to win over the entire college and about to take it over and conquer it, and placing it under their sole control as well. On that very, very day, the Universal Magic Heroes and Universal Magic Girl arrived just in the nick of time to preventing the two Sacred Sisters and the evil forces from conquering the college, with the rest of the team of the heroes began fighting up against these magical threats by using their magical powers and abilities, by fighting magic with magic, light magic versus negative, powerful, dark magic, which they realized that their opponents wielding powerful, mysterious dark magic, which they actually have seen this type of power before against the most powerful, dark, sinister, magical users of the dark druids, witches, faithful, and of the leaders, which is Amber, Witchcaster, the Dark Witch, and the other sinister, high-ranking dark witches of their own with their own respective empire, which they managed to frequently clashing up against them as well. With that of the regards, Universal Magical focuses her two attacking on her two opponents, who are the two leaders of the group of the witches who are attacking the two sacred sisters who are quietly on the sky, levitating and quietly flying, and she decides to actually attack them with a new highly formed, upgraded advanced magical ability, which was able to exactly gained due to a magical training and experience as well, and she was able to literally drop them literally off course from flying away. And the two sacred sisters decided not to engage in a battle against Universal Magical, as they quietly learned the hard way that she's very powerful and very dangerous, and they were quietly still fascinated with her greater progress in her powers, growing so ambitiously, so growing so very much quietly, ambitiously, growing so very quietly, ambitiously, more brighter and more positive in a very good way, as she was able to wield blue magic. She had the power to conjure blue magic. Blue magic is a very different type of energy of magic, which comes from the magical oceans of the sacred magic universe and from the skies of the entire sacred magic universe itself. Only very few magical creature can actually wield the magic itself. Despite that, the two sacred sisters grew very fascinated with universal magical's growth and abilities that are highly adapting and highly advancing very quickly over the years. They quietly told Universal Magical that they were very surprised that her abilities are highly adapting and also highly evolving, and actually quietly told her that they won't exactly fight her today or either today or tomorrow, that they'll exactly fight her when the time is right. But they actually warned her and the rest of her forces that they should never underestimate them, that they are well observant on her teammates, and her allies as very much as well. And they told the rest of the Dark Witches to withdraw the attack and to withdraw the invasion from conquering the college, which they very quietly knew that it was a failed operation and a failed experiment from the very beginning. On the on the actual 26 on the actual 26 of 26 of no of 26 of no of November, the leader of the Sacred Sisters was able to reconvene with her two sisters on the dark crystal magical cave near to the waterfall, near to the dark wild energy waterfall, where the two of her sisters exactly told her that they did exactly as she asked them to do, and they fulfilled the assignment as the way was requested, and they exactly received the results as they actually anticipated it would, thanks to her predictions that she knew that the enemy would, after all, arrive in the nick of time and also at the exact same moment that she would actually arrive. The leader of the Sacred Sisters was very happy that her two sisters gladly took her predictions and her advice very well, and that they understand that the threat is now growing in power and also rising in power and also fully literally adapting and highly adapting and highly upgrading with its magical advanced skills and abilities as well. On the 26th of December, one formidable, powerful supervillain operative on Earth, which is quietly on planet Earth, within the buildings, within a building city. He entered within the underground. He entered within the underground layer and was quietly walking. With some kind of a cane. He was quietly walking with some kind of a cane. After that, he quietly changed the cane into some sort of ancient magical black sun, some sort of a projection of the actual dark, mythical, ancient, legendary sun staff, which was very quietly obsessed in obtaining by his own, and held a video audience with the members of the Sacred Sister within his monitors, where he was able to speak with them and telling them that the plans and operations have been going quietly very well on this side of the solar system, and that the United Heroes have gladly taken a very interest within amongst themselves to protecting humanity and the rest of mankind by any means necessary. And Mr. X is heavily obsessed, and very much quietly, highly unlikely, unhappy, and also very quietly displeased that the United Heroes had managed to gain the reputation and the respect of the people of Earth, and they managed to turn the tide of the war. The other member exactly told the operative that that was exactly the plan from the very beginning, that it must go the way they were supposed to. Two holographic, many other holographic pictures of the city and of the superhuman race beginning to showing where the old man was quietly standing, and they beginning to explain to him that the plan was for that to actually take place and was for it to begin initiated in a very right different way, which was very quietly crucial for it to beginning taking place, and for its analyzation to beginning to sisterly beginning also taking place in its very own different way, which was very inevitable for the plan to actually start bearing fruit. In other words, the founders and the members of the Order of the Five would remain the sole rulers, which will benefit them in the aftermath of the battle by losing against the United Heroes, which in terms they will also make sure that the Universal Prince and the members of the Order of the 12, which are his associates, will be stripped of power and will be literally be stripped of power, and control over the universal throne in a process which will derail their plans in the actual process, which is very inevitable that the operation that they're about to proceed with must begin taking place. And that the two forces of evil that are highly at war, they'll be able to manipulate them with ease, and using the Universal Heroes and the United Heroes as pawns to their gain, which is very inevitable for them to win the war as well. As the operative agreed to that, and he asked them that he will stand down for now and tell the other forces to stand down due to what they were actually told to do. On the 17th of January, the other member held a video conference with the members of with the Sacred Sisters, with the organization of the Sacred Sisters, and completely thanked Black Sport for his great initiative, with his great work and great collaboration with the founders and with the members of the Order of the Five, which are one of the most deadliest super ancient criminals that can never be underestimated. Regardless of that, the other member began thanking Black Sport for his highly cooperation and his full collaboration with the two ancient organizations and societies, that they were willing to better their plans and their goals in the process. And by doing so, they decided to thanking him by rewarding him an ancient substance known as cauldron, and with many dark crystals and power sources, with many dark crystals and highly advanced technology as part of them working together, and him remaining the secret operative and associate, while the other forces didn't well know that as well, that it was secretly in communication with the members of the Sacred Sisters, as well. He as well was very quietly thankful of that as well. On the 20th of February, the leader of the Sacred Sisters actually told the other members to begin to reconvene on a different dark cave and everything else, and also much quietly, not on the hands of the monster statue, rather on them standing on the ground, as the astro shadowy projection was actually standing on the very ground of the floor as well of the cave, as the leader of the Sacred Sisters began telling the members that she's about to explain the full scope of the plan, now that things are beginning to take very much of a drastic turn, and a very much of a drastic good turn, which will be very crucial for them to actually benefit in the future, which is very inevitable for them to actually do so as well. The new member began asking the Sacred Sister what is the full scope of the plan, and the leader of the Sacred Sister began explaining it to the new member that this is exactly what the plan will be. On the 15th of March, the leader of the Sacred Sisters, and with the other two loyal sisters and brothers and members who were quietly remaining with her within the other sacred magic kingdom and nation that they happily conquered and ruled with an iron fist, which is quietly ravaged by war and destruction, and crystals, magics, and resources have been stranded and been scarce, and the grounds itself are literally been messed up as well, which they decided to use it in order to conquer it, and use it as a way to invest in it, and also as a way to hide their existence and to keep themselves from the shadows as well. regardless of that they actually exactly spoke, and the brother exactly told the sister that the mysterious ally of the shadowy figure has completely arrived and that he needs to know the full details of the plan. The leader exactly told the ally that and the associate that everything else is going according to plan, the way it's supposed to be, and the order of things is now beginning to take a very different turn. The leader exactly told that they make need to make a very much of a sinister ancient truce with the members of the Order of Power, known and who are quietly led and founded by Lord Jet, who is the powerful, new, revered, legendary Lord of Magic, and it would be wise in order for us and in order for them to make a very much of a truce with the members of the Order of Power, because they've proven to be too powerful and too dangerous, and they can never cross paths with them in any several occasion, because the universal heroes will literally make sure that we actually do cross paths with them, and it'll be wise for them to keep their distance with the members of the Order of Power's plans and goals, which would not turn out well if we intervene or cause a chaos or turmoil between us and them. And the leader of the Sacred Sisters began to understand the full scope of what the ally said and exactly agreed to it as well. After the ally disappeared from the shadows as usual, and she couldn't sense or detect his energy or his presence from within the building as well. On the 20th of April, the leader of the Sacred Sisters was able to reconvene with the Dark Sisters and Lord Jet, who is the new revered Lord of Magic in a Dark Crystal Temple, and exactly told Lord Jet and only few selective members of the Order of Power that their organization will be keeping its distance and its existence from their respective goals and from their respective mission, which is very inevitable and very crucial for them to actually maintain their distance and their respective in a great different perspectivity of their own, not for them to intervene on their respective goals and the opposite goals and mission as well. Lord Jet was very quietly felt highly respectful now that the leader of the Sacred Sisters began taking an interest to exactly honor the new truce that they made many centuries ago with the original Lord of Magic, and said that it's best that they actually honor it. But in return, he wanted to offer the leader of the Sacred Sisters that they need to remain secretive associates to the members of the Order of Power, as well as the other members of the Dark Sisters began to agree with that as well. And they fully accepted that agreement. They'll remain associates to the members of the Order of Power as long as the members of the Order of Power would remain allies to the members of the Sacred Sisters, and they all agreed to that as well. On the 27th of May, the leader of the Sacred Sisters began to project an astral shadowy projection of herself, and so did the other members, on a dark cave, where she began to exactly telling them that it's time for them to proceed with the next step of the plan. Everything else is quietly in place. Now they must proceed on with the full phase of the plan, and then they must go on with the operation that they've been tasked to do. And they all completely agreed on that now that they understand the threats and the obstacles they're quietly facing, they won't be able to take enough time not to destroy it, but placing a control on the sacred world and on the sacred magic universe and on the sacred universe within especially within the solar system of planet Earth will be very crucial for them to making sure that they are undetected and fully unknown. And they all agreed to that plan, that their progress will begin taking place, so that the new members and so that the original former members who are still there as well, who is also still there, or also quietly still there in the meeting, or able to convene as well as the other original members who are quietly still there, and agreed that it's best that they actually proceed on furthering their plans and making sure everything takes place as well. Despite this, guys, the Sacred Sisters are a very powerful, elite, shadowy criminal organization, very globally dangerous and very powerful. It works with manipulation, power, control, and power and control, and with the power of determination, and with the greater dark influence and desire of controlling the sacred universe and the sacred world and the sacred magic universe in a process by influencing the sacred great nations of the sacred world, and also by controlling them and placing manipulation and dark influence through them, through their great hidden connections. They have many sleeper agents. Many sleeper agents, and also greater highly shadowy operatives and secretive operatives who are at They very much quietly of their back and call. And the leader is revered to be one of the most powerful members of the organization and of the group and of the coven of the organization itself. And the other sisters have learned to respect her and also quietly have learned to respect her and quietly shown a greater tremendous respect of her. Due to her being one of the most powerful, dangerous, ancient criminal, she's very, very highly observant of her surroundings, and she's very quietly good in detecting and sensing her enemies and her foes in a very, very quietly further distance, in a very further distant kilometers away in any seconds, and very quietly good in summoning and quietly good in actually realizing that the odds are not exactly in their favor. They are all very highly skeptical, enlightened members, and each member possesses an infinite dark power and a greater ability, as they all are very intelligent, 12 levelly headed. Some are very quietly aggressive, others of them are very quietly greedy, full of greed, and others of them want money. Others of them joined to the organization to further their own goals, some for their own reasons. Others of them joined to the organization in order to furthering the organization's true goals and true purpose by any means necessary. The great ancient mythical dark witches known as the Sacred Sisters have been present within the organization from the following centuries and are very well toply secretive with the organization's goals and mission, and they always keep to the shadows from themselves, which also keeps them concealed from the shadows, which also keeps them concealed within the shadows of the sacred world and from the outside of the Four-Nation Hunter world, so that their existence can never be exposed or ever known. They learned from the hard way that the universal heroes, the legendary universal heroes who have taken down many powerful, dangerous, elite criminal organizations, such as the Founders, the Order of the Five, the Order of the Five, the Court of Nature, the Court of Nature, the Court of Nature Sacred Five, and also Sacred Five and the Order of the Six, and the Galactic, and also as well as the Galactic, the Unholy Alliance, have managed to face their demise miserably over and over, time and time again, and they've learned that it will be wise not to underestimate the enemy's abilities and the intelligence and the greater inception, which makes them very dangerous and very highly and very highly resourceful. They're very highly resourceful, enlightened members and very powerful members. Each members controls a very quietly Pacific sacred country or sacred land or magical school, college, or nation. Some exactly have connections within the sacred criminal underworld. Some have greater influence and resources, and they each of them have the dark infinite power and the greater infinite ability. Some also have the greater power of teleportation, others the greater power of opening portals, telekinesis, telepathic communication, mind controlling, shape-shifting, the forbidden power of dark technique of shape-shifting, and the forbidden power of creating shadow creatures or monsters or animals that can literally fight for them and also defend them. And the leader is regarded to be one of the most merciless, ruthless, highly dark and vicious, very optimistic and very observant of her surroundings, and very inevitable. She bears the greatest philosophy of all the other members, and with the two original members who have been alongside her, understand her well, and they literally can read her body language due to them exactly knowing her very well, due to their childhood days and due to them actually being connected to her. They very much quietly grow fond of her, and they're willing to protect her and are willing to actually work with her through any means necessary. They are very well of her power, and the leader is very respectful of her two original comrades and also sisters and brothers and friends who have also been with her throughout the many ancient centuries. And she also quietly respects their powers and their great ability, which are also quietly the second, third greater powerful, secondary powerful members of the organization as well, and are also very proven to be dangerous. According to the sacred magic history of the warlocks and wizards and of the head mysteries, the Sacred Sisters are very dangerous and very powerful. They don't know about the organization and such, but they know very well that the Sacred Sisters are very powerful and a very dangerous, sinister group of dark witches. What they don't know is that they're very highly optimistic and very powerful. Due to their immortality and to their long gravity, they possess infinite power of dark magic and greater dark abilities and forbidden techniques that can also access and control as well. They also formed a formidable ancient secretive alliance with the King of Darkness, with the King of Darkness's followers, and with his respective descendants with these greater respective descendants within the greater ancient times, which explains why they remain in the shadows due to them operating with the shadow witches and with the shadow sisters, which they quietly manage to respect as well, and due to them communicating with them in full secrecy by sending encrypted, shadowy ancient texts and messages to the fallen, to the great fallen's followers and to his empire, making sure that this conspiracy and them colluding and collaborating with each other remains a full shadowy conspiracy, regardless of that. They are very good in maintaining their usual bases of operation as well as a central headquarters, which is an entire beautiful dark magical school and an entire forbidden dark sacred nation, and also a greater clan and worlds and planets that are under their sole control, which provides them the security for them to actually to be protected and for them to be actually to be protected, and also provides protection for the other members as well as a different individual bases, which also provides them certain protection for them to operate as well. Only very few of the operatives know their identities, and the other operatives don't know the other members' full identities, which also is very quietly critical for them to actually maintain their secretive identities to each other, and also for them knowing each other's faces is very quietly inevitable for them to actually working together as well. They are very highly 12 levels of intellect. They share greater intelligence as each member is an enlightened member and very wise and very ruthless, highly aggressive. Some are very bloodthirsty supernatural killers who just want blood and chaos, but who also share a same desire and a goal of making the sacred world and the sacred universe a better place, regardless of that as well. They're very quietly good in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, marksmanship, tactician, super strategist, and also organizing, manipulating, controlling, influencing, greater sacred politicians of warlocks and formation hunter elders and leaders as well, and very great in disguising themselves with the forbidden power of dark shapeshifting technique and a power of conjuring a shadow creature or a monster of its own image, which can protect them, and also literally concealing them and hiding them within the shadows. Due to their current influence and to their unlimited dark resources, they are very highly intelligent and are very highly intelligent, very highly immobile. Also very quietly good in forming forbidden, secretive, ancient alliances with the Shadow Empire warlords, commanders with the Shadow Empire warlords, and commanders with very powerful, sinister, dark witches, and also warlords, and with the members of the Order of Power, and with the new Lord of Magic, and with the other sinister operatives and members of their own respective organization as well, with Blacksport, who is a very highly secretive ally and also an operative to the organization. Very highly observant. They are ancient paintings and markings of the sacred sisters within the ancient ruins of the Dark Crystal Temple, which explains their origin and their mystery on how they came to be. And despite that, and their leader is very powerful and very dangerous. She's rumored to be one of the most ancient of all. She was quite rumored to be the first founder and the origin of the Sacred Sisters, which makes her dangerous and very powerful. She bears the greater techniques of all things and the greater techniques of all creation, manipulating shadow and light power in greater will. And she's very much revered as a greater goddess and a godlike being to the people that she's conquered and ruled, and that she remains isolated to herself, and she keeps to herself, and only to a few selected members know very well not to cross her or to double cross her as well. They're very quietly good in maintaining their identities and keeping it concealed as well, and they very good in forming formidable shadowy alliances with a very powerful unknown shadowy, with the astral projection, with the mysterious astral projection of the unknown alliances and allies, which they keep to the shadows in order for them to operate within the shadows, so that they can also manipulate events within the shadows as well. They know that the universal heroes and the universal magic heroes and universal magic girl and the universal founders and the Phoenician hunters of the Intergalactic Coalition pose a threat to their global plans and goals, and they've taken a very highly interest to observe the threat before they actually make a move. And they are all very patient members, not highly stupid, but very patient and highly observant and very watchful of the surroundings, and very good in seeing a conflict before it actually comes, as they learn the hard way not to take the threat lightly, especially by undermining the Universal Heroes' abilities in thwarting the operation and their long-term plans as well. Very good, powerful, sinister, shadowy masterminds, and very dangerous and very highly skillful in detection and in seeing things from a very far distance, which makes them very gratefully dangerous. And they completely despise the Formation Hunters for their job in failing in their sole mission, purpose, in their sole glorified, holy, ancient mission and purpose in destroying the monsters of the Dark Dimension. They despise them and they don't even exactly like them. For that, they share a common interest and a goal that the Universal Heroes have made the worst mistake ever possible, and they're willing to destroy them and annihilate them in the process. And they also held greater regards and respect for the original Lord of Magic, and they still do in their hearts, and they always exactly have, which is why they were able to gain more followers of the Dark Druids, the Dark Witches, and of the Dark Faithful to remain as a secretive followers so that they can operate in the shadows for them so that no one may never know that they're all in collaboration with each other. Well, guys, that's it for today's episode. I'll see you on Tuesday as well. I'll see you on Tuesday, and have a blessed long weekend and enjoy yourselves as well, and take care. Your support means the entire universe to me, guys, and enjoy yourselves, and also have a blessed, grateful long weekend, and have a great day. From those of you who are subscribing, and from shorts and from long videos and from TikTok, thankful for you guys, truly thankful for you guys, and I'm very grateful for you guys' support. Have a wonderful, blessed, greater, long day. Today's episode was about the Sacred Sisters, so enjoy yourself and have a great day. Oh, and guys, it's literally quietly cold and windy today. Literally superly windy. As you know, this weather is unpredictable. Either way, guys, take care, and I'll see you on Tuesday, and we'll talk next on the other sinister groups and powerful individuals, supervillain and monsters and creatures and beings, which I'm about to add on my next on this new book that I'm actually doing. But take care and enjoy yourself, and love you, appreciate your support, keep subscribing, and also I keep waiting for you guys as well, and enjoy yourself. Bye.